Okay. What? Okay, so good afternoon, and today I will be talking about recycle and reuse. Keep the earth clean. So today we're going to be talking about recycling aluminums, plastics, metals, and electronics. So, as you know, we all use aluminums in our daily usage. Half of the aluminums that we use today are recycled. That's a total of 105 million cans a year. So if we were to recycle 100%, that number would actually go up. That's enough to build more than 70,000 Boeing 737 airplanes. That's 10 times the total amount ever built. So that's a lot. Now, we can also save in energy. We can actually save 4.4 million European homes can be powered by recycling. And that number can too double. So when we recycle, we also avoid having to mine during the new mining for new and raw material. So recycling saves energy. We know that. So by recycling, like I said, we're avoiding mining for bauxite or use for new aluminum. So that's to create new aluminums for usage, which equates to nearly 5% of the world's new mining for bauxite. So let's keep that in mind when we use those bottles and we're actually learning how to, or we're consuming them, let's recycle. So one of the nice things is that when we recycle aluminum, it never loses its quality. So aluminum can actually be recycled over and over again.
That's really cool.
Isn't it? Yeah. I didn't know that piece. So I thought that was neat. Another item that we can actually recycle is plastic. Plastic, we can save on energy. 88% less energy can be used when we're making new plastic. So we're saving on that. 75% saved, which equates to 1 billion gallons of oil that's not used for new plastic. So we're saving on all that raw material. That's 44 million cubic yards of landfill that we could save on space yearly. So imagine that landfills won't be created, which we can use that land then for other things. Options instead of plastic. Well, there's aluminum. Like I said earlier, aluminum doesn't lose its quality, so we can recycle that over and over again. We also have glass, so you can use glass, right? So I actually preferably like drinking out of a glass anyway. Now, the bottled waters that we use only contains 4 cents worth of water in them.
Only 4 cents?
Only 4 cents. So that, how much do we pay for water?
$2, $3.
$2, $3, right. But the liquid inside, the water, it's only 4 cents worth.
Oh, that's...
You might as well just either get it from your house or whatever.
Drink it from a hose.
Okay, or drink it from a hose. Another thing that we can recycle are metals. Metals melted and sorted based on their specific properties. So I'm not sure if many of you knew that metals can actually be recycled. I knew that there were some that could and couldn't, but now after knowing this, you could pretty much recycle all metals. Recycling 1 ton of steel avoids the use of 2,500 pounds of iron ore. That's new. That's new properties or new raw material. You're also saving 1,400 pounds of coal and 120 pounds of limestone. So this you would be saving because we're not having to use it or consume it or go and mine it, right?
That's great.
Here's a fun fact, or not even a fun fact, but this is a fact. Scrap metals have been recycled for thousands of years because it has been long recognized as being a more efficient process than mining and processing new ore. So we can actually save when we are actually recycling.
And less damage, obviously.
Yeah, and less damage. Well, and you're not hurting the environment because that's kind of what we're trying to do. We're saving the environment, right? One of our favorite things, which is electronics, right? Well, sad to say, but the U.S. is one of the worst countries because we actually produce 9.4 million tons of waste when it comes to electronics. So recycling 1 million laptops, the energy that we save can be used to provide electricity to 3,600 U.S. homes.
Wow.
In a year. So imagine that. That is actually a pretty significant number right there. And for every 1 million cell phones that are recycled, the EPA has actually stated that 3,500 pounds of copper, 772 pounds of silver, 33 pounds of palladium can be recovered. So imagine your cell phones contain all this minerals or silver within them. So when you throw out a cell phone, you're actually throwing out these minerals in there.
And even the 75 pounds of gold.
The 75, yeah, the 75 pounds of gold. Yep, there you go, thank you. Yep. I didn't realize that it had that much gold in there, so.
Maybe that's why they cost $800.
Could be. So, for those of you that are just thinking of throwing out your cell phones, you may want to rethink that, or any electronics, okay? But for those of you that didn't know about palladium, it's a precious metal that's used for making electrical contacts as well as surgical instruments. And you can find it in your watches. So we all carry them, for those of us that have a watch. So how does recycling impact the environment? Well, for the ocean, 5.25 trillion pieces of plastic debris in the ocean. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot. Mm-hmm. Imagine how many animals we're actually impacting by this. That's 269,000 tons floats on the surface. So if that floats on the surface, imagine what's underneath, right? So that's 4 billion plastic microfibers per square kilometers of litter in the deep sea. So that's 100,000 marine creatures a year that die from plastic entanglement. You know, I'm sure you've seen where some animals have gotten caught up in plastics and they will die. Land, at least 100 mammals and birds die from just consuming plastic. 180 species of animals have ingested plastic debris. So remember that if they're eating this, and some of us that are hunters, some of us that are deer hunters, dove hunters, or even duck, when we make the kill, we come and eat it. So we're actually eating what they just ate. So if they're eating all this plastic, we're eating it too. Here are some websites that you guys may want to consider in listening or going and visiting. So let's do our part and let's start recycling.
Yeah.
Rachel, where did you go?
Hey, is that Michelle?